everyone, Spider-Man 1991 here, and I'm going to be reviewing Man of Steel. That's right, the first in a new Superman film franchise. I'm going to be talking about it. Okay, first of all, non-spoiler review. Lots of action. The story does feel a little fast-paced. Overall, there is some good acting, and it's a great start to the new Superman franchise. I would say definitely check it out if you are a Superman fan. Non-spoiler. Okay, that was my non-spoiler review. Now I'm going to be talking about it more, and I'm going to be revealing some spoilers. So if you don't want any spoilers for this movie, please stop watching this review, go see the movie, then come back and watch it. Though I don't know why you would, since you kind of have your own opinion. Anyways, okay, but back to the main spoiler review. Alright. Good things I liked about it. There was lots of action. Alright, usually when a movie has tons and tons of action scenes, that can either be good or bad for it could either hurt the movie or be good for it. In this case, I'd say it was good, because with special effects, with the way special effects are now, we finally really get a good demonstration about how strong Superman really is, how powerful he is, how he's one of the I think it really defines how he's one of the heavy hitters of the DC universe with this movie, and all of the fight scenes with him, whether he was facing off Zod or Faora, they were just brilliantly done. They were amazing action sequences. Pretty much the majority of the movie does feel like you're watching a giant slugfest, but I think that's great because the way they do it is amazingly done. I mean, obviously Superman's actually going to fight someone in this movie, and not just when he's fighting people with super strength, but also with heat vision and flying. The way those things were done. So this is really more of a comment of both the action fight sequences and also the special effects. Those were brilliant. Those were definitely a plus, I think, for the movie. Another good thing story-wise is the way Clark Kent is at this point when the movie starts. It's pretty much Clark. He's kind of on this traveling abroad self-discovery journey where he's trying to do two things: find any evidence about his alien heritage, if they've ever been on Earth. Kind of like he's trying to figure out where he came from exactly, and he's trying to see if there's any other evidence on Earth. And at the same time, he's still trying to figure out his place on planet Earth. He's still feels like an outcast, and pretty much when you see him, he's just trying to figure out where to go, how to use his powers. He knows that he has to use them responsibly. That obviously because he does save people from a burning oil rig. But yeah, overall, it's kind of really more of Clark Kent's odyssey in this case. And I think that's pretty much a strong point. It gives us gives us an idea about how alone Superman can feel at times. I mean, yes, he's had Jonathan Kent and also Martha Kent, and now he's forming a relationship, forming a friendship with Lois, which we hope will blossom into something else. But he still feels like he needs to meet people from his own world, because he still feels like an alien, and I think that's a strong feeling that the movie does create. Also, comic book wise, another good thing is that they didn't just stick with one particular origin. They just kind of used several elements from different origins. They used elements from Birthright, Jeff Johns' Secret Origin, and the original Man of Steel miniseries. I think was used probably used the most in developing this movie, because we have a Krypton that's completely cold and believes in science, has a strong scientific and logical standpoint, and also children on Krypton are sort of born artificially through something called a Genesis Chamber, which is sort of similar to the birthing matrix from the original Man of Steel series, but Jor-El and Lara decide to have their child naturally, which they believe will, because when a child is grown artificially on Krypton, apparently they kind of get sort of programmed or skewed to certain career points, whether that's either being a scientist or a soldier, and Jor-El and Lara wanted their child to have a choice, so that's why they had Kal-El naturally. Also, the Jor-El AI in this movie was definitely more interactive than, way more interactive in the past, because that little key with the S logo that Jor-El puts in Clark's ship that people have seen probably throughout all the TV spots, that little key actually is the Jor-El AI. And when Clark first finds the Kryptonian scout ship buried in the Arctic, he puts in what probably was the temporary Fortress of Solitude for this movie. Clark puts it in, and he's able to meet his father and talk with him. Then later, when Clark is on Clark and Lois are on General Zod's ship, Clark gives Lois the key right before he's captured, so that Lois can plug it into the ship there, and then the Jor-El ND is instantly uploaded into Zod's ship and is able to help Lois escape, then help Clark escape. And I mean, he was doing a lot. The Jor-El AI was definitely more interactive. That was definitely a plus. I mean, a lot of people can agree that was a really great thing in the movie. And acting wise, Henry Cavill, brilliant job as Superman. Okay, the guy really does look a lot. Before I really didn't see Cavill as Superman, but when I started to watch the movie and see him in action, I kind of thought, wow, he really is a lot like Superman. And he does a good job establishing Clark Kent's character. You know how he has this power from a distant planet, but he's also been raised with the good morals of an American family. In this, from Jonathan and Martha Kent. Cable does a good job bringing Superman's character onto the big screen, and Amy Adams was a great Lois Lane. I don't know, I really wasn't too worried about her. Initially, at first, I was a little skeptical, but then saw her in some clips, and now that I've seen the movie, I think she really was a good choice. She's great. She's really great, especially her scenes with Cavill. Those were just really, really something, and I really think that the casting people on this movie made the right decision in having Henry Cavill and Amy Adams as Superman and Lois Lane. Okay, this movie does have a couple of flaws. For one thing, like I said before, for my non-spoiler review, the story is a little fast-paced. I think that's mainly because of the action sequences. I think that the story is fine. It tells us Clark Kent's character, shows us Krypton, gives us a prologue with Krypton. But however, it just felt really fast-paced, and it really wasn't just good. It wasn't really terrible, but it felt like we could have it felt like the movie could have used a little. I'm comfortable with the movie substance so far, but it felt like it could have just had a little more, maybe. And also, General Zod. I know he killed Jor-El, and he is the leader, and he is willing to kill tons of Earthlings so that Krypton can survive. However, I don't know. At times, I didn't really felt like Zod was a good villain. I felt like Faora was way more of a threat. Faora was definitely more intimidating and scary than Zod. Because, I think there were times where I just kind of thought either Zod was really bad or just insane at times. Or just crazy. The guy who... Crap, I forgot his name. The General Zod in this movie was pretty good. I think he does a good job showing off Zod's loyalty to Krypton. In this case, he's... The ship that Clark had, where we sort of have the fortress for this movie, was a Kryptonian scout ship, and it did have a working Genesis chamber in it, but apparently Earth's atmosphere is somewhat toxic not really toxic. It's really more hard for Kryptonians to breathe. If a Kryptonian was born on, for Clark's case, he was born on Krypton, but when he arrived to Earth as a baby, his body eventually adjusted, and he was able to breathe Earth's air safely. However, General Zod and Faora, they all had to keep wearing their space helmets in order to breathe breathe outside of their ship because their ship replicated Earth, Krypton's environment. And that's also why Clark was weakened on the ship when he and Lois were captured. But where was I going with this? Oh yeah, Zod. Zod was okay, just not really a bit. Just I didn't really feel like. I mean, Zod was terrible. I get it, he was the bad guy, but I just couldn't really feel it in a sense. All right, and now I'm going to talk about the one moment that everyone is drawing. The one moment that everyone is talking about in this movie, and it's a big spoiler here. So again, that's my final warning, and I've already talked about a couple of things, but this is the big spoiler here. Superman kills Zod, and I say that with basically what happens is Zod's crew. Basically, what happened was Zod's crew set up this World Breaker engine, which they were using to help terraform Earth to become like Krypton, and as a result, it would have destroyed. It would have killed everyone on Earth. Just so that Zod could reactivate the other ship's Genesis chamber and pretty much repopulate Earth as a new Krypton. But then Superman stops them, and also the U.S. government is able to fly Clark's ship, which apparently has a phantom. Which apparently the engine can be converted into a Phantom Zone projector. They fly the ship. They pretty much get the ship as well as Zod's main military ship, as well as their World Breaker engine, which is set up in Metropolis. They're able to pretty much get the Phantom Zone engine right near the ship, fly it into the ship, then into the engine, and send everything to the Phantom Zone. Unfortunately, though, Zod was on the ship Clark found, and so he wasn't sent there. And with the ship gone, they can't send him back into the Phantom Zone. So then Clark and Zod just duke it out. Zod figures out how to fly. Then they pretty much Superman then gets Zod in a chokehold when they crash into a train station. Then Zod starts like just shooting his heat vision out everywhere, and he's about to kill this family when Superman like tries to tell him like stop, but Zod won't listen to him. So Superman, no choice, breaks Zod's neck, and he's dead. But immediately afterwards, Superman immediately regrets it. He's angry that he had to take someone's life. Lois sees this. She comforts him. But yeah, overall, Superman killed. That's the way Superman had to stop Zod for this movie. I mean, when I saw that for the first time in the actual movie, I was just like, "Wait, Superman killed a guy? Like, really? That's how this happened? Like, he doesn't kill. Superman really doesn't kill." But then a few minutes after the movie ended and I was walking out of the theater, I kind of thought about it. Then I remembered that Superman really didn't have any other option. Okay, he had no way of sending Zod back to the Phantom Zone. Kryptonite doesn't exist yet. Well, probably Kryptonite does exist, but it hasn't been discovered yet. So he couldn't have thought of giving him gold kryptonite, taking away his powers forever. And yeah, also probably Superman couldn't really think. I mean, this is still a pretty young Superman. All he's been dealing with so far is just natural disasters and some basic robberies. That's it. But this is pretty much like the first time he's fought a supervillain, someone as powerful as him, and he doesn't really know what to do. And he was running out of options. People were about to die, so he acted. So he had to act quickly. And yeah, don't even think that he's okay with this. No, trust me, Clark regrets it. Okay, immediately afterwards he regrets it. And this is obviously something he's going to have to live with, and it might be this might be something they could elaborate on in the sequel and in other future movies, maybe the Justice League movie. And also, Superman has killed before in the comics. There was Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, where after all his enemies are defeated, Mr. Mxyzptlk appears and Superman kills Mr. Mxyzptlk by trying to send him to the Phantom Zone. At the same time, Mr. Mxyzptlk tries to go back to the fifth dimension, basically dead. However, Superman regretted it, and he took away his powers forever. Then post-crisis wise, there was a time Superman had to actually deal with another world's General Zod and Feora, and I think Jax-Ur or Nan. Anyways, it was known as the story arc was called the Supergirl Saga, and Superman had to deal with this other Earth, this General Zod from another Earth, which was just like the Silver Age comics, where Zod was Kryptonians are much stronger. And at first, Superman removed their powers with gold kryptonite. Then he had to kill them with green. And also, death of Superman. Superman basically killed Doomsday at the same time Doomsday killed him. So, as you can see here, Superman never kills when if there's always a way out. I mean, if Superman's like out of options or something and he has to protect the world, he would do it, but only if that was the only way. If there are other ways, Phantom Zone, jail, gold kryptonite, something like that, where he could figure out a way out, he would do it. So don't get the idea that with this new Superman franchise, we're going to get a Superman that's okay with killing. No, we're not. This is still a pretty young Superman. He actually just learned how to fly in this movie. Like, right after he gets the suit, he figures out how to fly. That's obviously another example of the fast pace the story has. But yeah, eventually I looked a lot, but pretty much at first I was shocked at Superman killing someone, but then I took another look at it. I weighed the facts, and I can see how that works. However, I hope that they really don't use that in every single Superman movie that's next. I really hope that doesn't become a running thing. I really hope it's just this one time and that's it. And this becomes like the thing that, and who knows, maybe this is the thing that for this franchise drives Superman to hold up the whole no killing rule. And before anyone thinks that this is going to be if there's going to be a sequel, yes, there is going to be a Justice League film and a sequel to Man of Steel, and they're going to have the same writer, David S. Goyer, who also wrote this movie as well as the Dark Knight films. So yeah, and he did a good job with this movie, and so did Zack Snyder as a director. I think they were both amazing, and also Zack Snyder is going to direct the sequel, the Man of Steel sequel as well. As far as the sequel is concerned, I really hope some stuff that we do get to see Lex Luthor or Brainiac in some of the future movies. Also, I think something that they could use for the sequel is that, well, the movie basically ends with Clark Kent signing up for the Daily Planet and starting to work there with the glasses and everything. So I think for the sequel it will be interesting to see Clark Kent adjusting to his new secret identity, because yeah, Clark didn't let people know who he was on his little odyssey or self-discovering journey. Most of the time he would just use an alias and just be sort of this superpowered drifter. But now he's staying in one place. He's got a secret ID, so I think having him adjust to it would be something interesting to see, as well as more development for the Lois and Clark relationship. I mean, yes, they do kiss in this movie, and yeah, also spoiler, Lois does know that he is Clark Kent a little bit before he starts wearing the S suit and calling himself Superman. And yeah, she obviously recognizes him when he comes to the Daily Planet. But yeah, obviously this movie didn't really leave much development for the Lois and Clark relationship. I'd say most of this movie was for developing Superman rather than Superman and Lois, which I think helps because we want to establish who Superman is first, then get into the whole love connection he has with Lois. So yeah, overall, I would say Man of Steel is awesome. I definitely like between this and Iron Man 3, I definitely like this one a lot better than Iron Man 3. Do I think it's better than the Avengers? Yeah, not. I don't know. I'd have to get back to you on that one. That'd be a good idea, though. Debating Marvel movies with DC movies. That would be amazing. Gonna leave that idea on the chalkboard. But yeah, overall, I would say my rating for Man of Steel would be 4. Let's say 4.75 stars out of 5. Okay, that's my rating for Man of Steel. Very nice movie. I would definitely, Superman fans should see this movie. I recommend it to comic book fans, and also people who love the Nolan trilogy, because this one definitely has the same vibe as the Nolan Batman series, but this one won't interact with that Batman. So, but overall, great movie. Highly recommend it. All right, so that's my review of The Man of Steel. Agree or disagree? Comment below. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, Spider-Man 1991, saying see you later.